What made you lose respect for someone? My own grandfather refused to attend his wife's funeral and refused to attend his daughter, my mother's, funeral. The two were a month apart and it was all because he didn't want to isolate in his care home after them because COVID. He then called my mum's coffin that disgusting thing in the middle of the church and he tried to watch them on a live stream but got bored and turned them off halfway through. He's dead to me now. My uncle John and his wife Linda, fake names, they had 2 kids together. See, John's world revolved around his children and he would do next to anything for them. His wife, however, was a different story. Linda cheated on her husband multiple times, verbally and mentally abused the man, fought and argued, tried turning his friends against him, including myself, got her kids involved in their fights, put a restraining order on him, tapped his phone multiple times, some parenting shit she installed, and tried to erase all evidence of her doing this shit. Not to mention, she's the reason he got into some drugs. Horrible person, NGL. People who ghost. This is not a very bad situation or something like that. I used to have a crush on my friend and we used to be talking a lot in calls and that stuff. I even tried to tell her my feelings but she took it as a joke. In one day she opened his camera and she let me see her face and I took a pic. Mistake a few days ago we were talking about faces and I send her face in her DM and lol, I thought I could trust you. Now I'm just hearing my Spotify playlist and remembering the old times. Their ego, that was the size of the universe. Back in my freshman year we had to do a graded presentation for the class. Unfortunately the day before the day I was supposed to present I broke my leg and couldn't come over school. So as soon as I got back home from the doctor I texted the teacher that I wouldn't be able to come tomorrow and do the presentation. The next morning she replied to me saying, I wish you will get well soon, but I am still giving you a 0, you should have let me know before that you are not gonna come. I mean bitch please, was I supposed to know up ahead that I'm gonna get injured? Liars. I find toxic and passive-aggressive behaviors so disgusting, that when a person I know has them regularly I look down to them. This is aggravated by the fact that I have inferiority complex and self-esteem issues. It really hits me different. Every time my girl and I argue she calls the cops on me. When they take advantage. My father has done many things over the years that made me wish I could be done with him, but he's my father and I love my mother. Abusive in her own way, but they're all I have right now. One that stands out, I was maybe in middle school, and a waitress a few years older than me comes over. Let me preface this by saying, my father isn't tall, maybe 5 feet 10 inches, but he's well over 200 pounds, and that man can yell. When you hear that someone that roared, that's how he yells. So this girl comes over to take our order, asks us what we want to drink. My father says he'll take a Coke. The waitress says I'm sorry, but we only carry Pepsi products. My father stands up, a good 5 inches and twice the weight of the waitress, gets red in the face, leans toward the waitress, and roars. I don't want a fucking Pepsi. I asked for a goddamn Coke because I want a Coke. Don't fucking offer me a Pepsi. She turned and ran. My mother apologized and smoothed things over, like always. We sat there quietly eating pizza while my dad, after terrorizing and humiliating a kid who had been trying to help us, told a story about his day and my mother smiled and chatted back. That was far from the first or the last time I watched him treat another person like that, but I've never once done anything about it. If I can, I apologize, get up, and leave, but I'm not often in that position, and it creates problems later. This was a few years ago. Not all that exciting, but I'm a pagan. This guy I was hanging out with was a Christian. This is actually important to the story, so bear with me. We made friends, learned about what each other believed in. He came to visit my kindred and learn about our beliefs. I went to church with him to learn more about his beliefs. It was pretty mutually enlightening. Then we somehow got on the topic of LGBTQ+ people one day, while he was in the store I work at, buying a cup of coffee. Now, I'm bisexual, and trans, So I'm very obviously pro LGBTQ+, but he started going on this weird, hate-filled rant, homo this, F slur that, the Bible says this and that, Leviticus, blah blah fucking blah. After that, man, I just couldn't hang out with him anymore. I really don't think I was wrong to cut a bigot out of my life, even if his holy book says he's right, or that's how he was raised or what have you. I had a huge crush on this girl. We had plans to go on a date but she cancelled on me multiple times. No big deal, I thought. My manager, who at the time was in a 5-year relationship, started getting feelings for her. We talked and I explained to him I'm not mad at him, but he's already in a committed relationship and I haven't been in a good relationship for my entire life. Every woman I had been with before either cheated on me, used me, was extremely psychotic, and no, I'm not saying that because I'm a dick. My parents gave me an ultimatum of moving in with my biological dad or breaking up with her because she had a criminal background that was rather unsettling, or a combination of those. Well, he takes a vacation with his girlfriend at the time. They went to Colorado and she paid for it. During the time he was gone, me and the girl I was trying to get with got closer. Fast forward 2 weeks later, he gets back, breaks up with her the day they got back, and shags the girl I was talking to. Real dick move. Anyway, they moved into an apartment together after dating for 2 months, and he co-signed a loan with her for a car her dad didn't want to get for her after 6 months. Joke's on them though, because I'm with her, at the time, best friend, and they are now realizing how little they have in common. I'm happy with her, but sadly I'm still working with my manager. TLDR. Girl cancels multiple dates on me, my manager who is in a 5-year relationship gets feelings for her, goes on a vacation his girlfriend paid for. He breaks up with her the day they get back and bangs the girl I was into. I get with her best friend, and they start to realize how little they have in common when they moved in together after 2 months. Me and my current girlfriend are happy. A former high school friend met a guy at her bachelorette party and called off her wedding 3 weeks later. At the time, she just lied and told me that she was having problems with her fiancé. That he was lazy and not making enough money. The guy at the bachelorette party had been creeping around all of us women and he was a real douchebag, kept bragging that he was a lawyer and that he had uncles in the mob. Cool/yes. He gave me the creeps. Well, when she told me she was calling off the wedding, she kept complaining that her fiancé doesn't make a lot of money and hasn't been trying to change his career. But then after she told me, she accidentally sent me a text that said ha ha ha, just told my friend it's called off, and I realized the text was meant for the douchebag mafia lawyer. She ended up getting pregnant with the dude and having her wedding at 8 months pregnant using the same bridesmaid dresses from the wedding that was called off. It was so trashy. She was clearly after the money. I told her that I couldn't associate with someone who lied to me, manipulated me. I said if she ever ran into problems with the new dude and needed help then she could call me, but that I was done. I've never missed her. Never looked back. Neglecting COVID restrictions and saying stuff like I'm gonna buy a fake vaccination pass on the darknet. When she said the men Cardio B, or whoever the bitch of the month was right to drug those men and take their money. Edit, lol fucking Cardio B. You know, your mom and I used to hang out quite regularly. But we had never experienced sex or passion throughout the whole friendship. We are talking for years. Great friends are much more meaningful than even 21 night stands. So that's why we kept it friendly. After 6 years, her and I decided to try something different, and started going on double dates with couples we thought were attractive, while still remaining friends. We made sure the couple was none the wiser. Eventually, we met a couple that was downright rapey, and quite enjoyed the vibe as it was consensual to them, not to each other. One thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping partner swapped with this couple. Weeks later, your mom found out she was pregnant. We were excited and elated to have this child. While I wasn't to be your father biologically, I could remain at a distance as a godfather or uncle or whatever. Once you were born, I was surprised to see you had some of the same traits as your mom, but also very familiar traits. Turns out, your mom had been adding roofies to my drinks for years, and had taken advantage of me multiple times. So the disappointment came twofold. One, that I wasn't able to remember or enjoy sleeping with your mother. The second is that you were born with the same personality as her. Fuck, I literally can't find one thing to respect you for now. Thanks, son.